Welcome back. I'm Dr. James Pathoulas,
Hi, I'm Dr. Rahman.
and we're here back for episode 2 of Skinnovation Lab Podcast. So we have a lot to talk about today. We really enjoyed all of the great feedback we got from our first episode, and we're going to keep it rolling.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Essentially, today we will be doing hot or not. We have some deep dives, but first we want to let you know that if you're enjoying this channel, to subscribe, and we would really appreciate that, and we appreciate all of your comments and feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. Our goal is to bring science to have a seat at the table in all things dermatology, and we also have uploaded a few shorts.
Yes.
Yeah, to our channel. So you can find us on both YouTube, Instagram, and on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Under Skinnovation Lab.
Check us out. And we'll have a lot more content coming to you this week. So
yeah. And we'll add our link below.
Our link, right? Okay, so let's get started. The first thing that we're going to talk about today is hot or not. So the hot or not topic today is beer spas. Zach has been quoted, Washington Post, reading the Washington Post, and come across Dr. Zakia Rahman's hot take, which she gave in the Washington Post. So we're going to break it down for you today. Yeah. So what when you were approached about this, like what's the deal here?
So it was funny when I was approached about this, right? Obviously, there's so many skincare trends. And so this was one that is really popular in Europe. So you go to a beer spa, you sit in a vat of beer, you drink beer, you get massages.
Out of the tub.
Immediately I thought, wow, this is like the human version of Wagyu.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know not all Wagyu is raised just drinking beer and getting massages, but I was like, well, that's a good way to make really tender food.
Yeah.
But is it good for skin?
So essentially, have people researched this? Like what? I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine, but have they?
There has been some research on it. So interestingly, the main way that we absorb, beer is through our gut. Mm-hmm. So you can't necessarily get drunk if you just lay in it all day, but maybe over a long period of time you can. So I looked at a few articles. And actually, there was a 2014 article that I found in the literature, and it looked at the effects of the hops in beer, and the polyphenols, and it found that they're antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, and antioxidative.
So we should be in beer.
Yes, but it doesn't have to be alcohol. So it can be non-alcoholic beer as well. So there, could be potential benefits. But obviously, if there is alcohol in it, that can be drying to our skin. All of you who've used those alcohol sanitizers know your skin can get really dry. But the most important thing is the World Health Organization has said alcohol is a carcinogen, which it is. So I think a lot of younger people are recognizing the potential harmful effects of excessive alcohol consumption. So I just told them that, it sounds relaxing, and anything that's relaxing and relieves stress is good. But from a skincare trend perspective, should there be, beer spas opening up all over? Probably not.
Probably not. Well, I think especially the messaging on alcohol from, different agencies has been mixed, right? Because they're in the late 2000s, we were like, more red wine, the better, the flavonoids. And I think it turned out that a lot of that research was really supported by the alcohol, industry.
Yeah.
And now we know that that risk is real.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is really, it is frightening to read. And I think that there's just much more awareness. And what's fascinating is that the industry has shifted away from alcohol-based drinks, right? Yeah. Now they're making all kinds of non-alcohol wines, non-alcohol-based drinks.
Or like THC and THC cannabis drinks.
Interesting. Okay, that's replacing.
But yeah, they're shifting, right? It's interesting. Yeah, as the market changes. So we're going to be on site for the episode 3. We're going to be like, stop, we made it. Okay, so I say no. I say medium hot.
Yeah, you said
it's interesting.
It at least it's not absurd, like some.
Right. Yeah. So, which stay tuned. We'll be getting to absurd.
We'll get there.
And we're pulling up the chair.
Yep.
pulling up a seat for
Welcome.
science.
Science, have a seat at the table.
Science, have a seat at the
Yeah.
table. It's time. Let's do it.
And I think we had brought a few things.
Oh,
right,
yes.
to
Our
demonstrate
mascots.
science. Yeah. Our mascots, which I think we often, being nerds, you have to look at DNA, and then you have to look at genetic, but epigenetics, right? What happens to the environment that affects our DNA and the downstream effects on RNA. And
we're still discovering.
Yeah, absolutely.
And our friends here are going to help us describe some things later on, for sure.
Yeah.
And we have our little skin.
Yes.
Our little, what a cute mascot.
It is really cute. Yeah.
Tag's still on it, but we're keeping it. We're not sending this one back.
And this one we still have to put in for the light, because obviously as laser and light specialists, but look at these.
So cute.
Unicorns. And one of the future podcasts, we're going to talk about why dermatologists are unicorns, because they are extraordinarily rare. But
we are
future podcast.
We're very rare, but you have full access to us online, LinkedIn, anytime. So if you have looked at the LA Times, you will note that there is a big article about around a month ago on salmon sperm facials, and it is fascinating, the world we live in. And you were quoted in this. You're like top of the article.
The salmon sperm facial trend is one that will not die. It's extremely popular. And this is one of those like K-beauty trends. But it turns out that love K-beauty, love Korea, but this was not actually pioneered in Korea.
Oh.
It was pioneered in Europe. And like you were saying,
oh my gosh,
are ahead of everything. So yeah, it was actually in Italy in the 1990s. And so they were using it for chronic non-healing wounds, people who had burn wounds, and there actually are FDA approved products that are used still and used today.
Like grafting.
Actually just topical products. So if any of you remember taking any kind of science or genetics, you think of what DNA stands for, deoxyribonucleic acid.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, exactly. So basically this like salmon sperm facial is these polydioxyribonucleic acid.
Okay.
So it's like little bits of this DNA. And one of the things that I've seen on social media is that, salmon sperm is used because it's so similar to human DNA. Or salmon DNA.
We're the same.
And that's absurd, obviously. Right. It's not used because of that, because like obviously, it's vastly different. And I think it's mostly used because one is that there's a lot of farm grown salmon.
Which is sustainable.
Exactly. Yeah. I
mean,
in
some ways.
In some ways. Unless this trend becomes so popular that people are growing salmon just for their gonads and not to actually consume the salmon, then it will not be sustainable.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think the reason that salmon were used is because, they're grown for food and the gonads are often not eaten. And so people are using that and extracting the salmon sperm and using it for facials.
And where are they doing this? Like, is it in a spa?
Usually done in a spa setting. Okay. Now, one of the things to know is that these are large compounds, and there's like 500 Dalton rule, right?
Oh, yes.
Which is that if you apply something and it's like very large, like if you look at collagen, it's a massive molecule. Just applying collagen on the surface of your skin, it's not going to get absorbed.
Which, by the way, just so people catch that, I mean, I think a lot of people could benefit from hearing that.
Yeah.
Just period.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're saying this molecule is too big to have biologic effect, deeper.
Exactly. Yeah. And so a lot of times it's done with microneedling and application or injection.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And so I think, of course, that's something that
it was like sterile or
when done, in a facial or that, it's not sterile.
Yeah.
So we, certainly we see complications of people who've had injections. It's important to know that it's not FDA approved. And when we're looking at studies, because it's like, we obviously evaluate the clinical studies to say, hey, is this valid or is it not valid? And it was like a mixed bag. There's some that showed, it works really well. One of them showed that it upregulates something called VEGF. vascular endothelial growth factor. And we know that
Yes.
actually can be upregulated in things like rosacea or in keloidal
Like
scarring.
a driver of disease in
Exactly.
those conditions.
And we actually use lasers and we use neuromodulators to actually downregulate VEGF. So if you have something like a rosacea, or if you're prone to keloidal scarring, don't do this, right? Sometimes you may think, let me just try this out. It won't be bad. You know, the data in some of the studies show this NF-kappa beta, which is this nuclear transcription factor. And it regulates inflammation and proliferation. And they were like, oh, you upregulate this.
Yeah.
But you don't want to constantly upregulate this, because that's how you get inflammatory conditions like asthma. And that's how you get cancer. And actually, some of the devices and treatments that we do downregulate NF-kappa beta.
Yeah, intentionally. That's the point. Yeah.
Exactly. And so you know, when we just look at the science of it, I'm like, what is it really, right? Is it the little trauma that people are inducing?
Yeah.
And, you know, are there studies that actually show that this works?
Yeah.
And I don't think that there is consistent studies. So I would say, you know, buyer beware.
Okay. Well, thank you for that deep dive.
I'm excited about your deep dive.
Yes. So my deep dive is, we pull out our script, you notice this episode, we have scripts and we're not sticking to them, but anyway, so I wanted to talk to you about shampoo. Shampoo is something that we all hopefully use, and it is, right? The purpose of shampoo is to lift hair products, sebum, which is like the oil from our scalp, and dirt from the hair, the scalp and the hair fibers. And it does this by disrupting the chemical force between the hair fiber and the particle, whether it's like dirt, sebum, whatever. When we think about how to like classify shampoos, break them down, we can look at them based on their chemical charge. Okay. There's negatively charged shampoos or anionic shampoos, cationic shampoos, neutral shampoos, and then we'll get into like there's non-ionic and protein based. Okay. But essentially, so for we'll break it down by the charge. So let's start with negative.
Okay.
Anionic shampoo. So an example of this shampoo would be like Pantene Pro-V Volume body shampoo. So this is a shampoo that you can get in the store.
And will it say it? Like, will it say anionic or not?
No, it will not say anionic. Okay. So we'll talk about what to look for on the label.
Okay, great.
Yes. So these anionic shampoos, basically they have a negative charge, and that's in and of itself okay. It's actually these shampoos, if you have really oily hair, greasy scalp, these are the best for you because they have the best ability to strip the hair of like dirt, oil, and really clean your scalp. But they have a bad rap, honestly. So the reason for that is because they both have sodium lauryl and sodium laureth sulfate, or SLS, they'll commonly put on the label. So basically, these were ubiquitous in shampoos, and then around the 2000s, people wanted to get sulfate-free shampoo. So when you see a sulfate-free shampoo, it's just free of SLS.
I've seen the sulfate-free label. I always wonder like what it means. So
a lot of people don't want to use the SLS or sulfate shampoos because it can be drying to the hair. So if you have brittle hair, dry hair, that's very thin, this is not the right shampoo for you, and you should go for a sulfate-free shampoo. If you have seborrheic dermatitis or oily hair, this is the shampoo for you.
Okay.
But just make sure that you use a conditioner after, because conditioners are positively charged, and they'll be very attracted to the hair that was treated with an anionic shampoo because it's left with a little negative residue. Speaking of which, cationic shampoos, positively charged shampoos. CeraVe, they did it. They do have a cationic shampoo ingredient. So the CeraVe Gentle Hydrating Shampoo, technically, I don't know how the cosmetic chemist did this, because if you look closely, it does have an anionic component as well. But basically, these are one of the least effective shampoos at getting that dirt off of your scalp and that oil off of your scalp. So this is for people that have really dry scalp, like atopic dermatitis, and really, really like fragile hair. Okay. Maybe like a structural hair disorder, which is really rare.
Interesting. Okay.
Then we move on to what's more ubiquitous. So like amphoteric shampoos. This is fascinating. So amphoteric shampoos, they're neutral. They're not overall positive or negative, depending on the pH of the water that you're shampooing your hair in. But basically, Baby shampoos are like the most famous
yeah.
amphoteric shampoo. We'll talk more about conditioner later, but that was your deep dive on shampoo.
That was fantastic. I mean, it's so confusing, right?
It
When you
is.
go to Target or you know.
Let's do that. Well, and before we sign off, there's one thing Dr. Rahman blew my mind the other day, and we should share with the audience about the theory of red light and melasma in pregnancy.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
This buckle up. It was just wild when you said this. So basically we were talking about melasma, skin condition, and it's more common in pregnancy, and why?
Yeah. So yeah, it's like, as we think about, why would the mask of pregnancy, why would it come about in this period of time? And it turns out that women on average have about 1% less melanin than compared to men. And ultraviolet light actually creates vitamin D, but it breaks down folic acid. And folic acid is really essential in the early development stage in utero for your neural tube, right? And so it turns out that when you have pigment, it will block the breakdown of folic acid.
Yeah. And so in theory, then that's evolutionary advantage.
Evolutionary advantage of melasma. Exactly.
Less spina bifida.
It's amazing.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
We have a lot more to talk about, so put it in the comments, follow our YouTube, see our shorts, and we're signing off from another great day at Stanford University, Redwood City campus.
Discovery Hall, Skinnovation Lab.
Skinnovation Lab. Take care.